Life is about shedding the darkness and embracing the light of knowledge. So let's get together and awaken our minds. Friends, welcome to my series of videos of Awakening the Mind. My name is Dr. Akash Ahuja and I'm a psychiatrist here in Los Angeles, California. And I did my med school from Maulana Azad Medical College from New Delhi, India. And I did my residency in psychiatry from Hennepin Region's psychiatry program in Minneapolis, in the state of Minnesota in United States. Today we are going to talk about a topic of which we all have heard about. We are going to talk about anxiety. Now tell me, we all have used the word anxiety or being anxious at one time or the other. We have heard kids talking about it, we have heard the college-going children, students talking about it, teachers talking about it, professors, wives, mothers, neighbors, everybody has talked about anxiety at one time or the other. And it's such a devastating illness which sometimes we don't think about. I mean, I've known people, I have treated people who have anxiety, who cannot leave their home because they are so anxious, who cannot speak in front of people, who get panic attacks, and whose life, the social life, is so disruptive because of anxiety. So let's learn a little bit about anxiety and see what we can do about it. So what is anxiety again? Anxiety is a very strange feeling which is accompanied by a lot of physical symptoms like muscle tension, it's a constant worry, inability to relax ourselves, decreased concentration, we have palpitation, like our heart is beating very fast and we have no control about it. In fact, many people end up in the ER thinking that they are getting a heart attack while actually it's an anxiety attack. It's so frustrating when people go to the ER and the doctors tell them that, oh, you're fine, you have nothing, but actually it's not like they have nothing. They have nothing wrong with their heart, but they definitely have a strong panic or anxiety attack. They can also have sweaty hands, which can be very bad if they are in a party and they are feeling anxious and they have to shake hands with people, and then there is sweat on your hands, and they can be very fearful of the situation. Whenever people get anxious, I give them a tip to think about the thoughts, the feelings and behavior associated with it, and we'll talk about it more once we come to the treatment portion. But keep in mind these three things: feelings, thoughts and behavior. I've prepared a slideshow here which you guys will be able to see once we finish the slides. So let's move on and let's discuss types of anxiety. I mean, there are many kinds of anxiety disorders, but today we'll be covering some of them, and one of the big ones is generalized anxiety disorder. So what is that? As the name suggests, these people who have generalized anxiety disorder, they worry about everything. They worry about everything all the time. They worry about their finances, they worry about their kids, the parents, they worry about that they are going to get late, they worry about the food, they worry about the politics, sports, everything. And their worry is not like just getting worry, you know, it's kind of out of proportional. So for example, you guys might be worried if you are getting late for an appointment, but these people will really freak out if they get a thought that they might be a couple of minutes late. They start again feeling as if the whole world is going to crash if they get late. There is no logic behind that worry, and many a times these people know that, but it's just that they cannot control it at times. Moving along, again, these people can suffer from trembling hands, twitching, headaches, muscle tension, sweating, and even hot flushes, which can make them very uncomfortable. Friends, now let's talk about another form of anxiety disorder known as panic disorder. Now, we thought that generalized anxiety disorder is so bad, but if it's one, then panic disorder is like 10. I mean, it's like repeated and unexpected attacks of intense fear or discomfort for no apparent reason. So there might be a girl walking on the street happily, and suddenly boom, she gets this feeling of heart pounding at the rate of million beats per second, not literally, but very fast, and she's sweating and she's like choking, and she might feel that as if she's going to lose the control and she might die. A lot of these people actually end up in the ER because they really believe that something very wrong has happened, until they are diagnosed with panic disorder, which a lot of times they are not. These episodes technically come out of nowhere, and they peak within a few minutes and cause feelings of terror and alarming physical symptoms, as we just discussed. It's a terrible feeling, and until these people get any treatment, it can really make their life miserable. I know so many people with panic disorder who don't go out of their home fearing that when they might get another attack. They stopped driving the car because they fear if they get an attack while driving, they might get into accidents. So they anticipate the anxiety, and because of that they get more anxious and get panic attacks. Such a dreadful situation. We'll talk about the treatment in the end of the presentation. Now, switching gears here, let's talk about something known as social anxiety or social phobia. Now, as the name suggests, this kind of anxiety is basically a fear of becoming humiliated in social situations. These people have hard time speaking in public, eating in public, interacting with public. They sometimes cannot take a promotion in their job, even if they are brilliant, because the promotion basically means that they have to address the meetings and they have to address a lot of people. Their hands shake, their voice tremble. They might avoid eating, drinking or writing, as I mentioned, in public. In children, this anxiety plays a very important part, as it can be expressed by crying, tantrums, feelings of getting away from that social situation. Many a time you will see that kids will go to somebody's house but will not go in or mingle with other people. They might be in a separate room doing their own stuff because they have this intense anxiety and fear of interacting with strangers. Now guys, we just talked about different aspects of anxiety, and there are many more which I've not been able to cover in this presentation. But let's talk a little bit about the medications which can treat anxiety. There are many kind of medications meant for different aspects of anxiety. We talked about generalized anxiety disorder, and the medication of choice there can be buspirone, and a lot of antidepressant medications can also be used for anxiety. For example, fluoxetine, paroxetine, citalopram, escitalopram have been found very useful in dealing with the anxiety. When somebody goes through a panic attack, at that time these medications might not be helpful, and they might have to take some kind of hypnotic or sedative medication known as alprazolam or diazepam to get rid of those symptoms at that particular time. A lot of patients get a benefit from psychotherapy, which is cognitive behavior therapy. And you might remember at the start of the presentation I said keep in mind the thoughts, the feelings and the behavior. So let's discuss a little bit about cognitive behavior therapy in detail, which can really help generalized anxiety disorder, social phobia, other phobias and also panic disorder. So friends, let's talk about cognitive behavior therapy and see how it helps people who have anxiety disorders. As I mentioned, cognitive behavior therapy deals with the thoughts, behaviors and feelings associated with a particular anxiety. I'll give you an example. This is an example of a woman who loves her husband a lot, and let's say a husband comes home at 5 o'clock in the evening, and let's say it's 5 minutes past 5 and the husband is not at home. So the wife might start feeling very anxious around it. So in cognitive behavior therapy, what the therapist will do is that he will talk about, he will ask the person to write it down, like what thoughts she has if the husband is not home at 5 o'clock. And she might say the answer that she's feeling sad, she's feeling anxious, she's feeling as if maybe the husband got into an accident, maybe husband is having an affair with somebody else, and that might be the reason that he's not coming home. Maybe he got into some trouble, maybe his boss has fired him and that's why he went to the bar and maybe he's drinking alcohol. So these are the thoughts which can run through a person's mind. Now let's discuss what kind of feelings she might be getting. She might be feeling annoyed, she might get frustrated, she might feel fearful, she might feel as if something is terribly wrong. And now what kind of behaviors can that lead to? She might freak out, she might call the police, she might call her sister, mother, be very panicky. She might call the kids and tell them that look, your dad is in trouble. She might try to call the husband's boss. And I'm exaggerating a little, but I'm just giving an example as to how a husband's coming 5 minutes late to home can trigger so much anxiety, and how these people sometimes try to cope or actually not cope with that particular feeling. So the therapist is actually going to work on those particular thoughts, feelings and behavior around anxiety. Friends, we discussed many kind of anxiety disorders today, and I just want to put emphasis that it's such a widely talked topic, but one of the least understood topics. So we have the responsibility to educate ourselves and teach ourselves that anxiety disorders are a very integral part of society, and they do occur and accepted, and we should not prevent ourselves or our friends from getting help from a trained professional like a psychiatrist. And by doing so, we can really save our life, their life, and make it much better for the whole society. Thanks for watching this video.